You think you know Captain America Civil War? Well, here's some things you may not have known about the first film in Phase 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I'm sorry, Tony.
If I see a situation pointed south, I can't ignore it. Sometimes I wish I could.
Sometimes I want to punch you in your perfect teeth.
Captain America Civil War will be Anthony and Joe Russo's second Marvel film upon release. Their aim with Civil War was to make an amalgamation of the first Avenger and Winter Soldier with a psychological thriller angle. The main influences on the film are cited as being Fargo, Seven, The Godfather, and various films in the Western genre. Additionally, humor is more of a focus in Civil War than has been in the Russos' past films, with lighter moments sprinkled throughout the film.
Captain America.
Mr. Lang?
It's an honor. I'm shaking your hand too long. Wow, this is awesome.
Captain America. I know you too. You're great.
The plan to make a film based on the events of the Civil War comics has been on the Marvel studio table for a while. Screenwriter Stephen McFeely explains that crafting a script that was well balanced was a challenge. Because the source material predated the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the actors and actresses who helped craft the characters who star in the story weren't around to help refine the characters in the comic. Quote, "We have to make sure that everyone who's established in the MCU are serviced and sound correct. Because there's a difference between the characters in Civil War, which was written in 2006-2007, we need to make sure that that template gets adjusted." Nate Moore, executive producer of the film, felt that it was the right time to adapt Civil War to film. Many of the Phase 2 films dealt with world-ending experiences. Quote, "We felt like we had to tell the next step in that story, which is what happened. What is the world's reaction?"
Stay down. Final warning.
I could do this all day.
Principal photography for Civil War began in late April of 2015 under the working title of Sputnik in Georgia at Pinewood Atlanta Studios. Much of Civil War was filmed in Georgia, with the Porsche headquarters in Atlanta doubling as the Avengers headquarters. Other filming locations were in Puerto Rico and Iceland. Originally, Hope Van Dyne, or Wasp as she's better known, was in the film's original draft. However, she was cut out of the script. Kevin Feige felt that there were too many characters in Civil War already, and that, quote, "We didn't want to do her a disservice." Marvel wanted to save her for a better setting in which to reveal her in costume for the first time, and see, quote, "her dynamic with Scott Lang in a way that could play out." Similarly, it is very important to the Russo brothers to give the proper attention to each character in the film. According to Joe Russo, quote, "It's a sprawling film, no question. Each character has their own personal reasons for their actions in the film. Characters are incredibly important to us, so we're making sure as much as we can that everybody has a fleshed out arc in the film."
Do you remember me?
Your mom's name was Sarah. You used to wear newspapers in your shoes.
Civil War would be the first appearance of Black Panther, played by Chadwick Boseman. Chadwick brings real gravitas to the role. He really personifies the character beautifully. He has great passion for the character. He did great research on the very cultural aspects of the character. Even though he's a fictional character, figuring out better ways to tether it into real African culture. He found a regional accent based on where Wakanda would be. It's just incredible, an intense amount of detail. Spider-Man has always been a point of contention concerning the rights to make films about him. But in the 2014 hacking of Sony Pictures computers, it was revealed that co-chairman Amy Pascal and President Doug Belgrad had been discussing Spider-Man's inclusion in Civil War. In February 2015, a deal between Marvel Studios and Sony Pictures was reached, and it was confirmed that indeed, Spider-Man would appear in Civil War. The Russo brothers have been advocating for his inclusion for months. 3 months later, in May of 2015, Pascal, Feige, and the Russos held a test screening in Atlanta for 6 actors hopeful to secure the part of Peter Parker in Civil War, as well as a solo film. However, Marvel didn't confirm if the character would appear in Civil War until much later. The following month, Tom Holland was offered and accepted the role. The Russos were very vocal about their choice for the part, and also lauded Holland for having a background in dancing and gymnastics. They were also the ones who pushed to cast an actor who was closer to the age of Peter Parker in the comics. According to Anthony Russo, Marvel told the directors that they have a plan B in case the deal and the casting fell through, but the Russos never did make a plan B. They only ever envisioned the movie with Spider-Man. And here's a bonus one. There was only one IMAX sequence in the entire film, but it's 15 minutes long. According to Joe Russo, the camera literally just rolled off the press like a week before we started using it. So it's the Ares 65. It's a joint camera between Ares and IMAX. We're going to shoot all of Infinity War on those cameras.
This doesn't have to end in a fight, Tony.
You just started a war.
That's it for this episode of You Think You Know Movies. Make sure to subscribe, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and get the latest movie and TV news on ScreenCrush.com.